All right, we're ready to begin the Maine Anjou show, and we're going to start with one entry in the summer heifer calf class. Our judge for today is Jenna Kraft, and Jenna and her husband S.L. Kraft, along with their two children, Cato and Teddy, reside in Anadarko, Oklahoma, on a ranching operation that Jenna grew up on. And after graduating from Oklahoma State University with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Agriculture Leadership, Jenna moved back to southwest Oklahoma to continue raising show cattle. Today, Jenna and SL own and operate Brower Craft Show Cattle, a progressive registered Maine Anjou operation. The couple sells show cattle all across the United States, offering cattle and genetic opportunities in several online sales throughout the year. The Kraft family has been blessed with tremendous success on all levels of competition, breeding and exhibiting numerous national champion females. Jenna and SL are now chasing their own kids' showing show ring dreams. Where's your girl with the computer?
Well, good morning, Keystone. It's a blessing to get to join you all this weekend and evaluate your cattle. Here in the Maine division, we've got our first class out here, and I think an extremely high-quality female to start things off with. Just so robust in her overall design and makeup. Love the foot size under this female. You know, if we want to change her a little bit, she wants to get a little off there in her hip, like to level her out up top there, but I think a high-quality female to start things off with this morning. Congratulations to her.
So first place in our summer heifer calf class goes to Leslie Mesh, entry number 3546, LJM Who's Vogue. Next class in will be the late spring heifer calves. There'll be 4 entries in the late spring heifer calves.
Really nice class of Aprils here. The motley faced heifer, I think, just surfaces to the top very easily for me. Love the foot and the bone work underneath this female, but where she really excels is when we put her in motion. She gets out and just gets around the ring with so much ease and authority. Love just how she maintains that levelness up there in her top when we get her out in motion as well. You know, she's probably not as robust in that center rib cage. She wants to get a little flatter compared to that second place heifer, but I think a very easy first place for us. The second place heifer, love the shape that she has in that center portion of her body. Love the wild high tie and look out of that front 1/3. You know where I've got some issues with this one is when we do put her in motion. I just like to see her relax down there on those ankles and set it down on them with just a little bit more ease and flexibility when we put her out in motion, like I said. The young lady that's going to come third out of the next two, you know, these two just kind of ran out of gas today compared to the females ahead of them. The female here that's going to come third, there's just a little bit more to her today than the heifer in fourth. Where I'd like to change this one is when we get her out and ask her to move. I'd like to see her just relax and get out and move with a little bit more athleticism off those hind two. The female here in fourth, so elegant. Love the added look and extension of her front 1/3. Like I said, she just runs out of some gas today. Wants to get a little tighter up there in her spine at times as well, but a very nice class of females there. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jenna. And results for the late spring heifer calves. First place goes to entry 1137, Emily Kramer with Kina GTC AG, Missin' Me. Second, entry 3648, Celia Marcina with Why Not Gorgeous Nightshade. Third place is entry 4795 to Kinsey Krauschnar with TEF Cora 26N, and fourth place is entry 2976, Mackenzie Heiler with HCIM Okies Gossip Girl. Our next class in the ring will be the early spring heifer calves.
We're going to go ahead and leave these females the way they came in. The young lady that's going to go ahead and lead off with, there's just so much more to her today. Love the added length and extension that she has. Really appreciate the elegance and just the eye appeal that she has as well. You know, I'd probably like to see even just a little bit more of her today. I like to relax her up there in her spine when we get her out on the move. She just wants to get a little tighter up there in her top line. The young lady here with the heifer that's going to be second today, ultra broody. Love the added shape and dimension that she has. She just puts it together in a little bit more compact of a package. Like to just stretch her out, give her a little bit more look out of that front 1/3, relax her in her spine as well. But I think two awfully nice brood females there. Congratulations to them.
And results for the early spring heifer calves. First place to entry 3145, Devonta Rarick with Dava FDSC Oil Money. Second place to Mackenzie Heiler, entry 2972, HCIM Okies Island Girl. Our next class will be junior heifer calves.
Incredibly high quality female to start this class off with, one that just when she hits the ring you gravitate to her, just her elegance, her femininity, and then when you see her in motion, love the athleticism that this female has. You know, if you want to be super critical on one, I'm sure this is her first show out, so she's probably a little emptier. I'd like to see just a tick more shape in that forerib, but I'm telling you what, that is a high quality heifer that's hard to not tune into. The female that's in second here, love the broodiness and just the overall shape and dimension that she has. With that, I just need to see it just put into a little bit smoother of a package. Like to see a little bit more frame size on this one today to get her up any higher as well, but congratulations to those exhibitors.
And results for the junior heifer calf class: first place to entry 5224, Hogan Hendrickson. That's Kina TSSC KD205NET. Second place to Reese McNutt, entry 2467. That's AACC Waverly's 12N. So now we're ready to select the junior heifer calf champions. So we'll need the class winners from the first 4 classes.
Let's give all these class winners in second place a really big round of applause out here in this division. The first female out of the May Class 1 that was just so burly in her design and just overall muscle pattern. Really appreciate that about her. Her length of spine. You know, she's probably not the wowiest in that front 1/3. It's real nice and sets in good. It's just not as long and maybe ties out as high. Where we wanted to change that one is in her hip. Whenever we get her out of motion and even parked at times, she just wants to get a little off in that hip. The motley face heifer out of that second Class 1 that is ultra feminine. You love the elegance of this one, just the squareness of her. Love the foot and the bone work about her as well. Where I'd like to change this one is she wants to get pretty narrow in her just overall base width. She wants to get a little flatter in her forerib as well, but that is one beautifully designed female. The young lady out of that third Class 1 that's just a very complete made type of a female. Ones that maybe just doesn't have the wow pieces a couple of these other ones have out here. Like to see just a little bit more of her today in frame. Like to see her get out and move with a little bit more authority as well today. The female of that fourth class just has that wow factor. Love just the show ring presence that she has, the freshness and the look in that front 1/3, and you get up on top of her, just tremendous overall dimension and everything, but she does want to get just a little flatter in that forerib. Like I said, it's probably her first show out today. I think there's a couple that have to stay together today. The young lady out of the fourth class will be your division. The motley will be a reserve. Congratulations.
So our junior heifer calf champion is shown by Hogan Hendrickson, entry 5224, Kina TSSC KD205NET. The reserve champion in this division goes to Emily Kramer, entry 1137, Kina GTC AG Missin' Me 412NET. We will be moving now to the yearling heifers, and we will have a class of spring yearling heifers.
I think two exceptionally high quality March females here at the top, but when it gets down to it, just overall hind leg, and when we get them out on the move, the female here that wins, that's how I'm just surfaces to the top justifiably for me. Love the foot and bone work underneath this female. She probably doesn't have that wild look like the other one does, the second place heifer. Gets a little bit more common in that throat latch area, but she's just absolutely complete, and I love when we get her out in motion. The young man's heifer here, love just the overall dimension that she has in the center portion of her body. Love the look that she has in that front 1/3. It's when we get her in motion is where I struggle with her. Like to just clean up that hawk shape. Like to see her get out and travel and meet her track a little bit better off that hind end, but I think two very high quality females. The young lady here that's going to come third, another very complete female, pushing a little bit extra condition for me today. Maybe just doesn't have that wow factor like the females have above her, but very high quality female to follow a good second place heifer. The heifer here that's going to round the class out with very compliments our third place a whole lot, just not as much of her today. She too, I'd just like to see her get out and move with a little bit ease off those two hind wheels. She just wants to get a little bit more restricted today, but very nice class there. Congratulations to them.
Results for the Maine Anjou Spring Yearling Heifers. First place to entry 3448, Grant Rumpel with JBT, Miss Daddy's Girl. Second place is to Connor London, entry 2460, JBT, Miss Lucky, 16MET. Third place to Madeline Gruber, entry 3212, that's CMAC, Miss Hidden Gem. And fourth place is entry 2982, Mackenzie Heiler with HCIM, Oki's Goddess. All right, we have one more entry in the yearlings, one junior yearling entry.
Lincoln here has brought us an extremely nice cow project for the young man. He said her name's Funny Bunny, and she's been funny since she was a baby, but very nice brood cow prospect here for the young man. Love the freshness that they brought her to us in today. You know, I'd like to just drop her there in her center portion of her body, but I think a very good project for the young man. Congratulations to them.
First place in the junior yearling heifers goes to Lincoln Gibner with entry 3295, FDSC Foxy M01. So we're ready now to select our champion junior yearling heifer in the Maine Anjou show.
Out here for our division drive, and not the numbers, but I think we had a lot of quality in this division. The gentleman's heifer here out of this first class, just brood cow. You love just the overall look that she gives you, just tremendous in her dimension, length of spine. You know, she got a little bit more common there in that throat latch area compared to that heifer behind her, but love this one. We got her out and put her in motion. Very, very high quality heifer there. The young man's motley face heifer here, one that is a fantastic project for the young man. Love the length of spine that this female has. Really appreciate the freshness that he brought her to us today. Just really probably like to drop her there in her center portion of her body compared to some of the females in the class ahead of her, but a very good job the young man's done with this female there. I think it's an easy choice today. The two females out of the first class will have to stick together. They'll be your division and reserve. Congratulations.
Your junior yearling heifer champion is entry 3448, Grant Rumpel. And the reserve in this division goes to Connor London, entry number 2460. We do have one cow-calf pair entry, and that'll be coming in the ring next, followed by our selection of the champion female.
You know, we talked the heifer calf in the class earlier on, and then to see her come back out here on this cow, that's very impressive. A very high quality 3-year-old that they brought to us. Love the udder for this female, just tremendous in her overall design, and still has that show ring eye appeal. Really fun to see a pair like that. Congratulations to them.
So winning the cow-calf pair division is Leslie Mesh with entry 4200. That's EJB WOAH Vicky 519C. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready for the selection of our grand champion female in the Maine Anjou show. So those entries winning their divisions will return to the ring.
Let's give our Maine exhibitors a really big round of applause, if you would, please. I know it wasn't the biggest show, but the quality was tremendous. And as a Maine breeder, it gets me excited to see the continuous growth of not only our numbers, but the quality of cattle that we've made. I've been with the breed since I think we had our first one about 1989, and to see the seasons that we've gone through, and we are hot and we are fun right now. So kudos to you breeders out here and exhibitors. It's fantastic to see what you've brought today. The heifer calf out of that Division I, just so awesome in her overall design and just overall look and presentation. You know, this is probably her first show. She's got a long road ahead of her, but that is one high quality female. You know, we talked to her, if I could give her a little bit of a change, I'd like to see her just a little bit more shape in that forerib, but that's being ultra critical on a high quality female. The gentleman's heifer out of that second division, just so complete, so maternal. Love the overall just body capacity that she has. You know, we talked to her, she got just a little bit more common up there in that throat latch, but boy, when you can make a set of feeding legs that good, that long term, I'm sure she's got a lot of miles on her already. That's a tremendous female there. We're going to go ahead and talk the young man's reserve division out of that second division as well. One that just had a little bit wilder look in that front 1/3 compared to the class winner. Love the dimension of her as well. Where we criticized her, I'd like to just clean her up in that joint work in her hock structure. When she got out on the move, she just didn't want to reach as far and with as much ease as the female ahead of her. But boy, that is a high quality female that was second place behind another very nice female. The third division here, the cow-calf pair, very cool to see one 3 years old to come in with still has some show ring look and has presented the way she is today. Really like the udder formation underneath her, and you can see she's got one heck of a heifer calf still on her at the side. Let's give them another round of applause. I think for me, champion's pretty easy. I think it gets extremely close for reserve, but congratulations to these exhibitors.
Your grand champion female in the Maine Anjou show goes to entry 3448. That's Grant Rumpel with JBT Miss Daddy's Girl 4633 MET. Hey, buddy. The reserve champion goes to Connor London, entry number 2460. That's JBT Miss Lucky 16 MET. Congratulations to both of our winners. Let's see. If there are any group classes, now would be the time to bring group classes to the ring for the Maine Anjous. MaineTainer exhibitors should be getting ready for their show. We will take a break here for photos before we start the MaineTainer show.
Like I touched base in the Champion Maine Drive as a Maine exhibitor and breeder my lifelong, seeing a breeders group come out here, you know, we're not a breed that we're normally known for that. So kudos to you all for coming out here and partaking in this division that's offered. Also, this is a producive dam division that is so awesome. Cows are the cornerstone of our operations. I think sometimes people get caught up in the sire being the most important, but it's your cow number one. So quality, high quality set of calves here. Congratulations to them and good luck with your operation on down the road.
Winning our group classes here today, the breeders group is won by Mackenzie Heiler, as well as the produce of dam, also to Mackenzie Heiler. Congratulations. We now have the results for the Maine Anjou Premier Breeder and Premier Exhibitor. Premier Breeder going to Michael Kinna, and Premier Exhibitor to Mackenzie Heiler. Congratulations. Those awards are up here at our table, so you could please come up there and pick those up.
Starting off our MaineTainer show, and I think a very high quality female to start things off with, one that just reads to have just so much future. I love just the overall shape and design of her. What I love best about this one is when you get behind her, just that squareness of hip, the overall dimension, and just very nice female. She might get just a little bit more common there out of her throat latch, maybe gets just a little bit more chest floor in her at this stage of the game, but I think she reads to have a lot of fun down the road as a big heifer. Congratulations to them.
As we begin our MaineTainer show, first place in the first class early spring heifer calves goes to Eric Dunphy, entry 4976. That's TEF Demi 10N. Our next class in the ring will be junior heifer calves. I believe we have 6 entries in this class. For those joining us for the MaineTainer show, our judge again is Jenna Kraft from Anadarko, Oklahoma. Jenna and her husband, S.L. Kraft, along with their 2 children, Cato and Teddy, reside in Oklahoma on a ranching operation that Jenna grew up on. And after graduating from Oklahoma State University with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Agriculture Leadership, Jenna moved back to Southwest Oklahoma to continue raising show cattle. And today, Jenna and SL own and operate the Brower Kraft Show Cattle Company, a progressive registered Maine Anjou operation. Our live stream for the beef shows here at the Keystone International Livestock Show is presented by Ringside Live, and our sponsors for the live stream are Bovatech, Schaefer Show Cattle, and Campbell Land and Cattle Company. We appreciate their support for the live stream.
A lot of differences in this class of maintainers, but I think the female here that's going to win just kind of puts it together in the most complete package. Love just how opened up she is in that center portion of her body. Love the squareness of hip when we get behind her. She's probably not as wild in that front 1/3 maybe as that heifer is in second. Could give her just a shot more foot size, but I love just the overall shape and look and athleticism of that female. The heifer here that's going to come second, just huge in her hip. Love her in the center portion of her body, but with that, we want to get just a little bit piecier. She wants to get a little weaker up there in her top, a little tighter there in her forerib, but she's so elegant, so up-headed. Love that high tie-in look that she gives you. The young lady's heifer that's going to come in third, ultra elegant. You love just how beautifully constructed she is, but with that, she gets just a little bit too refined for me. I'd like to give her just a shot more foot and bone work, like to ease her tail head down into her skeleton ever so slightly as well, but love the eye appeal, love the depth of dimension she has in that center portion of her body. I just want to power her up a little bit more. The young lady's heifer that's going to come next, she's got a lot more power than the female ahead of her. She just doesn't put it together in that smooth, refined, made-looking package. Wants to get a little coarser in her structural design, like to drop her there in her center portion of her body as well, but very beautifully constructed in that front 1/3. The female that comes next, I could have moved her up probably. She's just kind of that problem heifer of the class. Love her foot and bone work. She just reads to me to be just a little bit harder doing. You know, you can appreciate freshness at this stage of the game, but I just really like to soften her up. She gets a little tighter heighted, gets a little shallow there in her center portion of her body. Like to soften her up today to get her moved up any higher. The heifer that's going to round the class out with just a tick moderate in her overall design compared to the females ahead of her. She's very beautifully constructed. I just need to see a whole lot more of her today to get her up any higher, but congratulations to those exhibitors.
Results in the junior heifer calf class of the MaineTainer show. First place to Ashley Rosignol, entry 4309, that's Dust Sugar Biz 59NET. Second to Madison Young, entry 5090, GOET Miss Penny Prime. Third place to Adria Obertens, entry 1817, that's CCLF Charleston Girl 125N. Fourth place to Eric Bond, entry 3570, EJB BHAD Bad Baby 34CET. And fifth to Ray Lynn Wright, entry 687, that's GSSC Sweet Temptation. Sixth place to Lana Miles, entry 4179, CP Winnie's Magnificent MWA45. Next, we will select our junior heifer calf champion.
Let's give our MaineTainer exhibitors in this division drive a round of applause, if you would, please. The heifer out of that first class loved her athleticism. What we really loved about this heifer is when we got behind her and just the squareness of hip and the dimension that she has. You know, she wants to get a little bolder and coarser out of that front 1/3, but I think that's a very high quality female for the young lady. The heifer out of the second class just kind of put all the pieces together out of that set of heifers. Love the maternal aspects of this one. Really like the set of feet and legs underneath her. You know, we talked to her if we could give her just a shot more foot size, maybe just give her a little bit more streamlined look there in her head and that throat latch area at times, but I think a very high quality female. She's going to be your division champion today. The young lady out of the first class will be reserved. Congratulations to them.
Your junior heifer calf champion goes to Ashley Rosenall, entry 4309, Dust Sugar Biz 59NET. The reserve champion to Eric Dunphy with entry 4976, that's TEF Demi 10N. We have one entry in the senior heifer calf division, and that entry will come to the ring.
just a single entry in automatic division out here, but I think a female that could have definitely withstood some competition. I love a wild looking one, and this one's got that wild look out of that front 1/3. Love how high tying she is and just so tight throated. Love just the length of spine that she has, but where this one really excels is she's a powerhouse on that hip shape and that hind leg. You know where I'd like to change her is she wants to get a little vertical out of that shoulder, wants to toe out, but I think that's a very good looking, cool looking made type of a female in this class and division. Congratulations to her.
First place and senior heifer calf champion goes to entry 4966, Ella Petranton with TEF Coco 24M. We'll now enter into our early summer yearling heifers with a class of 2.
We'll go ahead and start things off with the motley faced heifer today. I just like the overall shape and dimension of this female. Just packs a little bit more punch in that skeleton. Love the look that she's got in that front 1/3. I would like to reconstruct that hock and the angle that behind leg sets in, but I think a very, very nice female for the young lady, especially when we get her parked on that side profile. The young lady's solid black heifer, just so long bodied, and with that, a lot of times it makes them just a little bit more shallower bodied because they've got that extra rib length, but you can't really knock one. Just today it creates just a little bit more of not eye appealing as the female ahead of her, just overall balance. Wants to get just a little crustier there at the top part of her neck, but a very nice female for the young lady, a nice brood cow project.
In our early summer yearling class, first place goes to Gabrielle Jacobs with entry 3578 BCCJ Felicia, and she will be the summer yearling champion. Second place goes to Cameron Romig, entry 4188 with Miley Lilani, and she will be the reserve champion of that summer yearling division. Spring yearling heifers are now entering the ring.
nice class of MaineTainer females, but I think there's a female out here that just the overall power and dimension and performance just excels to the top very, very handedly for me. When you get up on top of this thing, she's an absolute beast, but the star of the show is those feet and legs for me. To construct them, made that flat and round still up top, and with that much flexibility and function underneath them, I love it. You know, she's not probably the wildest necked one, but I think it's adequate and it fits her body capacity very, very well. High quality female. Young man's done an exceptional job getting exhibited. The young lady heifer has the heifer here that comes next. Another one that has just that wild look that we love in that front 1/3. She just gets a little tighter in that forerib compared to the heifer in front of us. Just wants to get off ever so slightly out of that hip, but that is being very critical in a very high quality female. Love those two at the top end of that class. The young lady that's going to come third, she just runs out of gas today compared to those heifers in front of us. Just gets a little bit more shallower in her rib shape compared to the females ahead of her. Like to relax her off the ground, off those hind two when we put her in motion as well. But I love the overall look and show ring eye appeal that she gives you. I just need to see a little bit more of her, a little bit more depth of rib, softness at the ground as well. The young man that's going to come next, love the broodiness of this female, just ultra broody, ultra maternal. Love the length of spine, the depth of rib. She just gets a little bit more common in all aspects compared to those females ahead of her. Wants to tuck that hip up underneath her when we put her in motion. The big broody woofy one that's going to come around next, one that's carrying just a little bit more condition for me today than I'd like to see. She wants to have just a tick more terminal look in that front 1/3 compared to the females ahead of her, but ultra complete, very woofy when we get up on top of her. Just like to refine her and ease her back in condition today as well. The big bold maid heifer that's going to round things out with big and bold, like I said, in her overall design and makeup, but with that we just want to get a little coarser, want to get a little coarser in our foot and bone work, want to get a little coarser in that head and front 1/3, but very nice quality group of females in that MaineTainer class. Congratulations to them.
In our spring yearling heifer class calf in the MaineTainer show, we had first place to Hogan Hendrickson, entry 1773. That's TSSC BTOM Mila Kunis 4114MET. Second place to Cecilia Mercina, entry 3652. Why Not So Sweet Moonbeam 837M. Third place to Ellie Hensley, entry 3507. WJJ I'm a Star. Fourth place, Chase Monday, 4456 is the entry. TSSC Bottom She's Charming ET. And fifth place to Eliza Byler, entry 2440. That's MILY Whitney. And sixth place to Connor Jordan, entry 2406, Kara. We now have the second class of junior yearling heifers in the class. There should be 4 entries.
going to go ahead and leave this class of maintainers the way they came in. The young lady's black female that's going to lead off, just so elegant in her design and makeup. Love the extension that she has when we get up on top of her. She's maybe a little bit more refined compared to some of those that we've seen already. Like to maybe give her just a shot more hip shape and length, and then give her a shot more foot and bone size. But I think a very beautifully elegant way to start this class off with. The peach painted up heifer that comes next, ultra complete, packed full of punch, but with that it gives her just a little bit more of a terminal look compared to that female ahead of her, just a little bit more moderate in her size, but very beautifully constructed, very elegant, smooth made show heifer there. The young lady's black heifer here, just a little bit more, doesn't balance out like the females ahead of her, but love the length of spine that this one has, just the overall maternal aspects of her. She too is just a tick moderate, like to see a little bit more of her, like to square that hip out when we put her in motion. The big bold female out of that's going to round the class out, but you know, we call her big and bold, but with that we get extremely coarse in her overall design. I'd like to just ease her skeleton up, just ease those shoulders into her. She wants to get a little bit more opened up, like to see her a little bit more relaxed off those hind two when we put her in motion. A nice class of maintainers there. Congratulations.
In the junior yearling heifer class division, we have first place to Madeline Gruber, entry 3614. That's ETL Kiss Me Always 241M. Second place to Kayla Lippert, entry 4949. JAKL Daisy Rose ET. Third place to Phoebe Stutzman with entry 3304. PAST Marley's Promise 1M. And fourth place to Johnny Gill, entry 1313, DGSC Driving Miss Molly. That brings us to the selection of our grand champion female in the MaineTainer show. So all our division winners will be returning to the ring. Correction, we are selecting our champion junior yearling heifer, and then we will be selecting the grand champion.
Let's give this division drive a big round of applause, if you would, please. The female out of that first class, just absolute unit of a female. Love just the overall shape and dimension that she has. But what I talked about most that I absolutely love is this one's feet and legs. It's really hard to find a hole in the set of running gear that one has. You know, we talked to her, she might not be as wowy at the top part of that neck as some of the other ones out here, but it takes a big engine to pull a big caboose, and that is one stout, powered up, but yet maternal-made female there. The young lady's heifer out of that second class, a little bit more refined in her overall design, her muscle pattern, foot and bone work compared to the heifer in front of her. Love the elegance of her. You know, she wants to get a little tighter up there in her spine whenever we put her in motion, but a very beautifully constructed, made type of a heifer out here in this division drive. We'll get out here and get you a champion in reserve, but congratulations to them.
Our junior yearling champion goes to Hogan Hendrickson, entry 1773 with TSSC BTOM Mila Kunis 4114 MET. And the reserve is Entry 3652, Cecilia Mercina with Why Not So Sweet, Moonbeam 837M. Now we can proceed to the selection of the grand champion MaineTainer female. Okay, so that is 1773 Hogan Hendrickson. Reserve is 365.
Let's give our MaineTainer exhibitors a really big round of applause. A very nice MaineTainer show today. We've already talked him in class. We've talked him in division. We won't talk about him again out here in the drive. I think there's one that I think anybody could find, even if it was their first time coming to a cattle show. Young man out of the last division, he'll be your champion. We'll bring our reserve in and reevaluate for reserve.
Your grand champion MaineTainer female goes to entry number 1773, Hogan Hendrickson. Same division. The reserve grand champion goes to Cecilia Mercina with entry 3652, Why Not So Sweet, Moonbeam. Congratulations. All right, so that's 3652. Yeah. Bailey. Yeah, she's over there. Okay, in the MaineTainer show, we do have 3 bull entries in 3 different divisions. So we'll begin with the junior bull calf.
Starting our bull show off over here, the MaineTainer show, and one that just has that wild look about him, and I love that. I've talked about it some in the other classes, but he puts it on such a structurally correct frame and feet and legs. I'm sure this is probably his first show out, and he's probably going to go home and really start to really power up and blow out and put the weight on, but I think they've got a lot of fun down the road with this young bull prospect. Congratulations to them.
Our junior bull calf class winner goes to Carly Berkheimer, entry 2079. That's BK Big League 161N. Next in the ring will be one entry in the senior bull calf division.
Another good-looking bull here in our MaineTainer show. Love the way that shoulder sets in, how high tiny is out of the point of that shoulder. Love the front 1/3 of this calf. Where I'd probably like to change him is he wants to get off there in his hip, like to level him out there. Like to level out his scrotal dimension there. He wants to get a little lopsided there, but a very nice bull prospect for the young lady. Congratulations to her.
Your senior bull calf class winner and bull calf champion is Madison Young with entry 3668 SNMNA Fames First Class 4200M. Our final bull entry is a 2-year-old bull coming into the class at this time.
I think our last class in the MaineTainer show and a really nice solid way to end things. A bull that just is so complete in his overall design. Love the feet and legs underneath him. I'd like to level him out in his hip. When we get him out of motion, he wants to tuck it up underneath him. But very nice herd sire for the young man. Congratulations.
First place in this class is Nicholas Vidovich with entry 3400. That's MCCF Lucky Day, and he is your champion senior yearling bull. So next we will select our grand champion MaineTainer bull. We'll bring our 3 division winners back to the ring for that selection.
Give our MaineTainer bull exhibitors a big round of applause, if you would, please. The young lady out of the first division, just a calf out here today, but boy, this guy reads with so much longevity about him. And when you're picking out your bull, that's number one. But after that, we've got wild high tine out of the top side of his shoulder. Love the way that shoulder sets in. But what I really appreciate is when we get up top of him, just his natural base width, like the scrotal size and shape that he's already got on him. The young lady's bull out of that second division, one that's big and bold in his design. He just wants to get a little coarser, like to square him up out of that hip, see him travel with a little bit more ease off those hind two back ankles there. The big maternal, or the big bull out of the last class, one that you really appreciate just how complete this guy is. He's not the wildest out of the top side of his neck, but I think it's very nice, very smoothly constructed. You know, I'd like to square him up out of his hip. He's probably just not as masculine and wide-based as maybe some of the other bulls out here today, but I think an ultra complete bull. For me, I'm not afraid to use a calf in a bull show. Young lady out of the first division, you'll be champion. Congratulations.
Your grand champion MaineTainer bull goes to Carly Berkheimer, entry 2079, BK Big League. And the reserve champion goes to Nicholas Vidovich, entry 3400, MCCF Lucky Day. Congratulations to our MaineTainer bull champions. Our MaineTainer Premier Breeder is Hogan Henderson. You say Eric Dunphy. Okay. MaineTainer Premier Breeder is Eric Dunphy. MaineTainer Premier Exhibitor is Hogan Henderson. Hendrickson.